when you put money into the bank has custody of your money, and they do whatever they do with it. You're essentially taking self-custody of your money and doing exactly what they need. I'm glad that it's happening right now. It's bringing a lot of volume and showing people that, hey, the peak was about 80 billion.
I think I have a little bit of that because when it dropped, I think I was actually sleeping.
Welcome back to the CryptoNoobz Podcast, where we break down cryptocurrency and the technology around it for beginners. I am your host, NelsonRecardo.x, and I'm joined with my co-host,
Lamont Astwood, aka Crypto Lambo.
And we've got a special episode today for you guys. Today we are going to be talking about DeFi, and we have our special guest, the one, the only, Amar Pearson.
What's up?
So just a little bit about Amar. Amar is a full-time trader. He's an entrepreneur. He's done so many things within the space of cryptocurrency and just trading all by itself. But don't allow me to tell you about it. I want to know from you, Amar. Tell me something about your story, about how is it that you actually got inside of the crypto and DeFi space.
Right. So my actual first introduction into crypto was a mistake. It was actually in 2020. I was looking for an internship, actually 2021. I was looking for an internship for my finance degree and I needed it to graduate. And, COVID is rampant at this time and no real financial firm is going to have an intern managing anyone's money remotely. So it was a struggle to really find someone or somewhere that I could have some type of work experience that was required for me to graduate. And what ended up happening was I was sending out 1,000 LinkedIn messages, emails, talking to CEOs directly, and everyone was telling me, I wish we could, but with COVID, we can't really make anything happen. And, one person responded and, he was like, can you trade crypto? At this point, I was trading CFDs. I didn't really understand truly what the futures market and also what the spot market was like. So I was like, yeah, I could trade it. This time I know that myself, I can't really trade it. And actually, I was trading demo and I was trying to find a strategy and I decided to send these strategies to these actual firms. And I was like, hey, I have 50K here. This is what I did X, Y, Z over this period of time. And this was my strategy and this was the results. Let me try this with your money. And I gave them that. They interviewed me and they really felt that I could fit the bill for the job. And, from there, the rest was history. I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I was feeling forward. And that learning curve of me having to feel forward, having that expectation on me, it really propelled me to make the learning curve much shorter than it actually was. And it worked out for the best.
That's what's up. And from learning this mistake, you'd actually learn how to become like literally one of the best traders in the Bahamas. But one of the things we definitely want to know about is, right? So as we know, inside of recent news, the new U.S. president, Mr. Donald Trump, would have actually dropped his own coin. And this coin is actually a meme coin, as a matter of fact. We wanted to know, what are your thoughts on that? And how do you think that's going to affect the space?
So I think that the Trump coin brings a huge target on the market for scrutiny simply because of who he is and his image. But also, it also brings a huge billboard for persons who may not have been interested in the market outside of their interest with Trump. I think that the Trump token is similar to Dogecoin, how it was a few years ago. However, Dogecoin may have taken this trajectory. Trump coin has taken that trajectory. A lot of what transpired with Doge between here to here, it is all happening here to here. And people are noticing the highs and also the extreme lows. There's no real middle ground there just because of the time. So I think that there are benefits, and like anything else in the space, there are also consequences. Personally, I think that any publicity is really good publicity at this point. People are gonna transact in the market regardless. I think it's an overall net positive. And, at this point in time, my perspective on the market has changed. 3 years ago, I might have said, this is hype. I love this. Last year, I might have said that, this is probably not best for the market. This is probably bearish simply because of the type of people that are going to come into the market. It's going to seem as though that he is essentially taking advantage of people in the market, taking advantage of the supporters. Because as you know, when price go up, everyone don't really make money. You might have the money on your wallet, but unless you actually cash out and, convert that money to actual USDT or US dollars, then you don't really exercise that profit. So I think a lot of people are going to experience that fire, that pain of actually losing money and that what if, simply because of that greed, simply because of that FOMO. But, I think it's a positive for the market. Personally, I'm indifferent to it because like anything else in life, I can't control it. I can only react and I can only do what I can control, what I can control. So I'm indifferent to it. I'm glad that it's happening right now. It's bringing a lot of volume and showing people that, hey, the peak was about 80 billion. 80 billion in 2 days. That's a crazy feat.
Crazy.
There's companies, I'm not exactly sure, but that might be, top 15, top 10 in terms of market cap of companies in the stock market. So, one meme.
One
No
meme
value.
is all it took.
No value. One meme.
Yeah.
So, it just goes to show how quick things can happen. It's a 24-hour market. It's a holiday tomorrow in the US. You don't got to wait for the stock market to open to make some money. And you don't need much money to make money. So it's showing people like, hey, this is another route that you can take. You don't got to go the traditional route. It's 2025. Things are changing. People aren't going to do the same things they did to create wealth as they did 10, 15 years ago. It's much different now, and it's more favorable for the younger folk. So all in all, I think it's a net positive, and I'm excited to see what happens from here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was actually one of the points I meant to ask you. Answered just now because I was going to ask you if you think it's a positive for the crypto space in general because it brings a lot of publicity. And you said, all publicity is good publicity.
Right,
Because
definitely.
you have a lot of people who didn't know nothing about crypto, but they know about Donald Trump. And now they might have heard about meme coins, but now they're really paying attention to it in that sense. You touched on something. You said FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. And I think I have a little bit of that because when it dropped, I think I was actually sleeping. And when I woke up, I saw the price increase and I was like, oh, what's going on here? But what would you tell people as far as handling FOMO in the DeFi market or not getting in on projects early now?
Yeah, so with the DeFi market, specifically the meme coins, FOMO is hard to conquer, honestly. And especially with meme coins, for a meme coin to drop in 1 hour and then get to 10 billion, I don't know how someone can have FOMO. And the thing is, I think all the crypto participants are sometimes FOMO can even be a benefit actually. So for example, I'm pretty sure if you ask anyone who has been in the space for more than 2 years, when they saw the Trump coin drop, the initial response was, this is probably a fake, probably a scam, and it probably won't last. If you was to ask someone who may have joined the space within the last 3 to 5 months, right away, they're going to buy it. They don't care what's happening. They're going to buy it. So it's a double-edged sword, and it's just a recency bias type of thing. Now, FOMO, more times than not, it doesn't work out for your best benefit. There are times where it's going to work. And right now, because there's so many people who have benefited from it recently, I think we're going to start to see a lot more FOMO and a lot more similar instances of tokens running up and then people getting burned eventually. And it's a learning process. I think that you have to experience it fully. You have to lose some money, realize, okay, this is something that I have to take, in stride. It can't be something that I just jump straight into. Let me at least, take a little step and get my feet wet. And then after seeing, the progress of the token or the coin, then I'll decide if I want to jump fully in or not. But I think it's best to exercise caution when you see something go straight up. A quote that I like is, buy the dip, sell the rip. Usually people only say buy the dip. Yeah. They forget that sell the rip point because it don't just keep ripping again. It can dip again. So buy the dip, sell the rip. If you see a big green candle, don't exactly look to jump right in as you see the green candle, because the thing is, when you see a green candle, it triggers something in your head like, okay, this is green, this is good, and everyone else sees the same thing. Now imagine I bought in at the ground floor where it was red, nothing going on. Then I started to realize, okay, everyone is buying in, everyone is buying in. By the time they start to buy in, that's when I really want to get out, because let's use a big number, for example. Let's say I had $1 million worth of Trump coin and the market cap was only about 50 million. For me to sell that $1 million dollars worth of that Trump coin after, let's say, a 20% increase, I'd probably drop the price at least 15 to 20%, just simply due to the slippage, just simply due to the available liquidity. So the only point in time I'd really be able to sell that $1 million worth of Trump coin and get my exact take profit price would be after a whole bunch of people start jumping in. And I think that's something that we're seeing right now on the Trump coin chart, where prices drop, at least 40% in the past hour or so. Because so many people are jumping out, and I recently saw some news that the trader who was up 390 million, he decided to start selling. Now imagine he was trying to sell that yesterday. What would happen to the chart? You can sell it now because there's so many more people, so many more public stunts going on right now. It's listed everywhere. So now he can sell and actually realize a greater portion of his profit. So whenever you see a big green candle, think about what you would want to do if you bought it on the ground floor.
So one of the first things I'd want to definitely say with that is that it really shows that you're really experienced within this space, right? And for our viewers who might not understand what liquidity is that the actual money that's behind that's actually available within the cryptocurrency is the actual dollar value. So one of the things that you would have talked about is that trader who would have made like several million off of this Trump coin or whatnot. Now, within the DeFi space, we've heard many stories. We've actually heard of many stories where people are, becoming millionaires off of like these various coins or what's not. Like, I think if you was to put a couple $100 within Trump coin or what's not, you will wake up smiling very happy right now, right? I want to know, take us back to your experience where it was the first time that you saw the potential within the DeFi space, like that first wow experience.
So for me, DeFi actually encompasses so much more than actual trading. And my first experience with DeFi, it wasn't actually nothing really climatic. It was simply putting like maybe $50, $50 to $100 in a DeFi platform, and it was essentially yield farming. For viewers who might not understand what yield farming is, imagine you're going to a bank and you have savings, like exact your savings account. If you go to RBC, you're earning like maybe less than 1% on your savings. Imagine you put that same money into another institution and you can earn 10%. So essentially that's what DeFi is. However, as with anything, there are inherent risks that come with it. The real fees that you're paying for a bank is essentially security and insurance. With DeFi, there isn't much security, there isn't much insurance. It's all code. There's always going to be that systemic risk when you go into DeFi. But my experience with DeFi was I had put about $50 to $100 of a token into a platform, and I was earning something small, maybe like 13% interest. And I realized that, if I leave this over the period of a year, I can earn 13%, maybe it would be $13 on $100. And I'd always remember back when I was in school, I remember hearing something along the lines of, if you can earn 10 to 12% per year, over the period of like 20 years or 25 years, you can earn $1 million. So that was the first thing that came to mind, that ability to compound interest year over year. And when I saw how easy it could potentially be, I was like, okay, I can see the potential in this. I can see how it can work long term. However, there's also that flip side. If you're investing into an actual token, the price of that token can go up and down as well. And usually what we see with tokens that can be used to stake in DeFi and earn interest on it, they usually come down because of the inflation. So let me try to break this down a bit more. So let's say we have CryptoNoobz coin, and you want to earn interest on CryptoNoobz coin, and they're giving you, let's say, 15% interest on that coin. You're not actually going to earn US dollars when you put that coin to save. So the same way you put if you put $1 billion let's say you put $100 in Bahamian dollars in the bank, you're going to earn Bahamian dollars. Put CryptoNoobz in the bank, you're going to earn CryptoNoobz. Now, what happens if you have this amount of CryptoNoobz in the market, and then people are earning CryptoNoobz coin every, let's say every day? The supply goes up. Supply goes up. When the supply goes up, the demand comes down as well. Because people aren't just going to keep the CryptoNoobz token. They're going to sell that token for actual dollars. So what usually happens is people earn interest. They earn that CryptoNoobz token. Depending on whether it's going up or down, they got to sell that because they got to realize profit. Now, there's persons who might decide, okay, I earned CryptoNoobz coin. Let me go put some more CryptoNoobz to actually save, and let me compound that interest to earn some more. There are times where it works out. There are times where it doesn't work out. I think it depends on the season that you try it in and your specific investment goals and your risk profile. So I won't get too deep into that, but that's just a gist of what it actually is and how you can potentially benefit from it.
So if we were to strip away all the tech jargon, right? I want to know, and you're explaining this to someone who's probably like a grandmother or just used to traditional banking. How would you explain DeFi or decentralized finance?
So it's essentially just a bank.
Just a
That's
bank.
all it is. You're doing the same things that a bank does, except you're doing it yourself. The word you're looking for is self-custody. When you put the money into the bank has custody of your money, and they do whatever they do with it. You're essentially taking self-custody of your money and doing exactly what they do. So banks, when they get your money, when you put your money into the bank, they then lend that money to someone else at a different rate, higher rates. And sometimes banks lend to other banks at their own special rate. So for example, I put $100 into the, let's say I put $1 million into the bank. They will then lend 10 people. Let's say I put it into my savings account, $1 million into my savings account, and I earn 2% interest. They then take that $1 million and split it up into 10 people, 10 persons, 10 times. So each person gets $100,000. And they then charge them 6% of their money. And let's say half of these people end up paying off their 6% loan. They will then lend $500,000 of that money to another bank, and let's say 4%. Because bank to bank, they got their own rate. They friends. They know they do it. So they're now 4% from bank to bank. They're 6% from other people, and you only get 2-3%. That's all it is. And when you put that into the DeFi aspect, here's how intricate this can go. Let's say we have CryptoNoobz token, and I lend $1 million worth of CryptoNoobz token, and I get 5% interest. Now I have to receive a note that says, hey, I actually count this money into the CryptoNoobz platform, so they give me a CryptoNoobz IOU. And let's say there's another platform now, let's say CryptoWild. They have their own platform. I can take this CryptoNoobz IOU, then go to CryptoWild's platform, and lend that same CryptoNoobz IOU for, let's say, 3%. Now I'm going to get a CryptoNoobz, CryptoWild IOU. So now I have 2 IOUs. I can take that and go lend it somewhere else, or I can go borrow somewhere else and get some actual money. Then I'll go trade. So I've just built leverage here, leverage here, and leverage here. And that's exactly what the banks do. They just end up building leverage, borrowing and lending all over, and you're just here, just getting it 2%. So it's essentially getting your money's worth elsewhere. So actually doing the actual work.
But so basically, if I'm understanding what you're saying, DeFi is just where you actually become the bank yourself. You actually have self-custody of your money, meaning that you also get to lend it out, you also get to borrow, and you basically get to do everything a bank does, just yourself. So walk us through some of the creative ways that you've seen DeFi use, like things that it wasn't available before with traditional banking. Like, give us some examples of what you've seen inside the space that are really interesting that our viewers could actually, be interested in joining this out.
I actually just thought of something crazy. So it's called a flash loan. So think about what flash loan means. In a flash loan. So think about this. Imagine you could go to the bank. Imagine this. Let's say you have the Bank of Freeport and the Bank of Elutra. The Bank of Freeport is lending money at 2%. And the Bank of Elutra is borrowing money at 10%. So there's an 8% difference there. So that's what I would call arbitrage. So I'm trying to get that 8%. But they're not going to lend you money unless you have some type of collateral. So in DeFi, there's something called a flash loan. Now it's very intricate. I can't explain it in simple terms because myself, I don't really fully understand the deep intricacies of it. However, imagine that you could spin up a contract, or if you see an opportunity, you can borrow money and then lend it in a flash like that and take that 8% right away. There are actual bots that can do this, and it's called a flash loan, and it might not cost you anything besides a gas fee. So imagine the Bank of Freeport has, let's say, $50 million in their vault, and the bank will literally need to borrow, or they want to borrow up to $20 million. All you need is, let's say, $1,000 worth of gas fees. If you can pay $5,000, you can get whatever that 8% is between that 50 and 15 million. So I've seen people take advantage of that and make millions of dollars. And I've always thought that if you have the technical ability to do it, that would all I'd be looking for. And it happens all the time, especially like now with big market moves. You're always going to see these different inefficiencies pop up in the market, and it's always going to be opportunities when things are moving too fast. Because in DeFi, unlike decentralized finance where you can see a price do this, and this, it goes from here, then it's here, then it might be here. So, there's a lot of interesting things that happen in the DeFi space. And the next thing is a compound of two things together. So it's utilizing NFTs and also the same borrowing and lending that we just spoke about. So I actually did this one. So I had it isn't a Bored Ape, it's a Mutant Ape. So step brother or the brother of the Bored Apes, and I was essentially staking my ape or lending my ape to receive an insane amount of interest. I think it was like I was earning like maybe 30% just single side lending. But if you had any Bored Ape NFTs, any Mutant Ape NFTs, or any other affiliated NFTs, you could earn an elevated yield. So imagine earning 30%, and if you got an NFT, or if you got all 5, you can then earn up to 75%. 75% APY over the year APR.
That's crazy.
So I've seen it where, if you're a member of X cult or you got this NFT, you can then receive benefits or perks to now saying, okay, let's repay you with this benefit because you're cool with us, for lack of better words. You can now benefit from this.
So one of the things we want to do is help some beginners to actually get inside of being able to get all that yield and being able to stake and all that good stuff, being able to make money from their money. So how would you recommend a beginner getting into like the DeFi space? And also, this is a compound question. I'd also want you to explain to our viewers things like yield farming and liquidity pools.
Right. So right now, with DeFi, so the safest route with DeFi, you guys have it?
Yeah, we could hear you.
Right. So the safest route with DeFi right now for beginner, I would say stay on a centralized platform like Binance. So Binance also has their own DeFi platform, and it's called Binance Earn. And you can earn, the last time I checked, you can earn up to 12% with up to $2,000. Now imagine you can earn 12% for the full range. You wouldn't see anyone in DeFi, they just keep all their money at Binance. But they've capped it at $2,000. You can earn 12% on $2,000 on Binance, or it's going to fluctuate, but it's a really good rate on Binance. So I suggest for beginner to go on Binance, explore the different styles of earning and how your money works for you. You can either lock it for a certain period of days, you can lock it for 30, 60, or 90 days, or you can have a flexible schedule for lower yield, of course. So go on Binance, explore that, see how well it works out for you. And once you get that initial foundation, then you can go off the central platforms into the centralized platforms and then pay it forward essentially. Because the only way you're really going to get this is if you actually do it, lose some money, make some money, and just be consistent with it.
Tell us something about what we were talking about, the yield farm and the liquidity pools. Like, what are those?
Liquidity, yield farm. So yield farm is essentially trying to find the best platforms that offer you the best rates. So, for example, 2 years ago, I had a yield farm strategy where I would max out however much I could put in Binance. So I had two Binance accounts. So I tried to get 12% on $4,000. So I put 2,000 there, 2,000 there. So I lock in that 12%. Then I'll go to another platform and I might earn 50% yields on a token.
This is another question I have. All right. So, how from your personal approach or your point of view, how do you usually identify promising projects that you think you should be invested in or take part in?
So, yeah, my perspective on what has actual value has changed over the past few years. And it's changed because the market has also changed. 3 to 5 years ago, a project can say it's going to do X, Y, Z, and people are going to see that and it's going to make sense because it fits the actual narrative of what the industry needs at that time. And you look at where the market is now, you got something like Trump coin, you have meme coins where there's literally no value and they tell you there's no value and not to expect anything. And people decide to funnel money into that. So when I look at markets now, it's simply what I think other people's perception of a token or a coin is or a project. If I can see the mass amounts of people believing or liking or fitting a certain narrative with a specific project, then that might seem like the project to invest in at that specific time.
Gotcha.
Really and truly, I think it's less of which projects can create value and more so of which projects can market themselves best. It's simply like business, because I think a great portion of the market is simply public perception and there's no real intrinsic value. Because you can say you are the backbone of the crypto industry, but are you making people any money? Is there a community?
Yeah.
So you gotta ask certain questions when you look at something. If I gotta look at a project and say I could see myself, or I could see my mother, my little cousin, or someone on the street, I could see them rocking with this or finding a way to be a part of it. If I can see that, then that's a good thing. If I can't see it, if I can't see, someone utilizing a product, then what's the point? It's really all in marketing nowadays, I feel.
Yeah,
So
and I think
well, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think too what you touched on, like community really matters when it comes to the crypto space as opposed to crypto and DeFi, as opposed to like traditional finance. Because traditional finance, you get quarterly reports, they're looking at earnings and revenue. A lot of the valuation is based on that and investor sentiment. Whereas in DeFi, it's almost like right now it's like who has the best meme? Like who has the funniest meme that could actually make or break your token, and it's insane. And that's something that I really found interesting inside the space, because I come from a traditional finance space and it's like it goes against everything you're taught. So it's like you really have to adapt to survive in DeFi.
Definitely.
And that's the thing. I know that some of the current narratives include like AI, meme coins, and some other stuff. I can't remember some of the other things. But one of the things that I wanted to know is like, how do you see this combination between AI and crypto? Like, how do you see these things coming together to make something, especially within this space?
So honestly, I have no clue what to expect because of how fast things have already progressed in the past year, months. Because when I first really started teethering with AI, I think it was summer 2021. That's really when the NFT boom started. And I started to integrate myself with it to generate different generate pictures, like abstract pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool that we could create images with AI on the blockchain like this, and then turn into actual product or business, and then sell these same images to people, and they'll buy it and then find some type of value with it.
Mm-hmm.
So now where people have made AI agents, and these agents are now essentially becoming their own banks, their own traders. You're actually utilizing different crypto platforms and influencing people as well.
So if someone was to just be starting out, would say $100 or what's not, what would be your recommended approach to starting out in DeFi?
So first things first, you have to understand what you're getting into. Sometimes you can, just feel forward. And I like to say feel forward, but it's actually doing some research and having a strategy before you feel forward. Whenever I decide to feel forward, I already know what to expect and what I'm likely to run into. It's not just me feeling forward, it's me really trying to get my feet wet and understanding what happens if I do X or what happens if I do A. I understand that I have these different variable things that will happen. So it's not just me going in blind and just feeling forward. So what I would suggest is do some research, have a goal. So do some research first, have a goal and plan, and then try to execute as close to your plan as possible. Because if you just go in there doing any little thing, you weren't really exactly learning something. So research, so go on YouTube, figure out, and I suggest go and try to figure out how to utilize the Solana ecosystem. Because one, they got the lowest fees, and that's where a lot of the action is right now. So go on YouTube, type in how to use DeFi on Solana. You're probably going to see hundreds of pages and different things that you can do. And then you make a plan. Okay, I'm going to go on this platform, do this. Then once I get X, Y, Z from there, I'm going to go to the next platform and try to explore different things and see which one works best for me. And what's going to happen after you do these two things is you might just be eligible for airdrops. Because sometimes just doing things, you can get rewarded for being someone who tests out a new platform. You can be rewarded for someone who just happens to use a platform. You can be rewarded just for being in the right place at the right time. And I can't tell you countless amount of free money that I've had by simply trying something.
Awesome.
I like that.
Well, Amar, once again, we'd just like to thank you for joining us tonight. We've definitely learned a lot from your experiences, from your information, from your insights, and we really appreciate it. For the viewers, you could follow Amar. How can we follow you?
Right, so I'm not too active on social media anymore, but you can find me on LinkedIn at Amar Pearson. I try to post a little frequently. I'm going to try to start posting at least one article every 2 weeks. And eventually I'll turn these articles into videos where you can actually see exactly what I'm talking about. So it's much easier to digest. But the best place to find me is on LinkedIn at Amar Pearson. And potentially on Twitter, you can follow me at No Stop Loss. It's going to be N0ST0PL0SS. I'm going to be the guy that only follows one person, and that one person is Jesus.
That's what's up. Well, to the viewers, we hope that you've learned quite a lot about DeFi from Mr. Amar Pearson. If you have any suggestions, any recommendations for episodes that you would like to hear about, or any topics that you would like us to touch on, just give us a comment on any of our social medias, our YouTube, our Instagram, our Facebook, our LinkedIn would either be CryptoNoobz or CryptoNoobz EDU. And with that, we'd just like to wish you a great night. Have a good one.
See you guys.
Take it easy.
Right.